You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K25. It's myself, Mooncey, alongside me once again, the three-time NBA champion, Mr. BJ Armstrong. We ain't had many episodes this week.
Oh
BJ's
no,
been busy. He's been traveling around the
yeah.
world. How's life been, B?
Oh yeah, just moving around a little bit, moving around, and you doing all right?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I've started a new experiment this week. I've started a new social experiment I'm conducting on NBA fans this week, BJ.
Okay, what's that?
I've started a new YouTube channel. So now I've got two YouTube channels. One in which I'm doing breakdown videos. Like, for example, the Lakers and Knicks last night went to overtime. It was a really interesting game down the stretch. I'm gonna do a video breaking down what happened in that game. But
Okay,
I've
okay.
also started a new channel where I talk about all the bull BS. Look at that, family show, no swear words. All the BS that they talk about on ESPN. So, for example, LeBron squaring up to Stephen A. Smith after the game and who's in the MVP conversation and who's the GOAT. So, I'm doing both of these channels now, and I'm going to see which one of them grows the quickest and which one of them gets the most views. Because everyone complains about the media, but I just think at some point, the media gives the fans what they want to consume. So, it's all well and good everyone complaining about it, but if you're still consuming it, it's on you. So that's what I've been doing this week.
Okay, all right.
Um,
Sounds
so
good. So
we're gonna see the
you're
experiment.
you're moving off the court.
I'm just trying to make something happen because it just feels like less and less people care about the game. So I'm trying to see what happens. We've got 90
Okay,
days until the NBA finals.
okay.
Um, but how about you? What's new with you? We
Oh
got
no, I'm
all
just
these
just in the gym. I'm just in the gym. I'm just in the gym watching games. Just in the gym watching games.
scouting the games.
Yeah, just watching games. That's it.
I hear it. We have all these questions from the fans, from the listeners to answer. However, I think we should say that for next week because there's a lot of questions here and we don't have a lot of time right
Okay.
now. But today is 90 days until the NBA finals begin. Now, I want to ask you, who is your prediction for the NBA finals 90 days out?
Until someone beats the Celtics, I have to give the Celtics their respect. Someone has to beat them. However, you know, the they have a formidable opponent there in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Cleveland right now is playing the best during the regular season. But until I see them do it, I have to, experience means something. Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, all those guys over there, they've done it. They are battle tested. They've been through the fire. They're not going to panic, and it's going to take a superhuman effort to beat them because of their experience in high pressure situations, right? They can be down 0-2 and
They play
you
better
know,
when
it,
they down 0-2.
yeah, so I mean they've done it. So until someone beats the Celtics, I'm going to still say the Celtics. However, over there in the Western Conference, the regular season, OKC has been fantastic, right? Shea Alexander looked like he's going to be the MVP this year. Jokic, you can't count him out. Okay. And the more and more I watch this Laker team, they look like they could be a problem right now.
Hmm.
And I know that brings music to your ears. So, but so
So,
if you're asking me right now,
yes.
I think the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference.
Okay.
And I think that I still believe the Boston Celtics. I believe the Boston Celtics
Yeah,
in the
let's break
East,
this
in the Eastern
down.
Conference.
Um, Kristaps Porzingis has now missed 64 games that he could have played in as a Boston Celtic. I don't know what his injury is. He's now listed as illness. I'm not sure what it is. And Cleveland recently have had some success with Mobley at the five lineups, BJ. Who would have thought? Um, we're not going down that rabbit hole, but that's going
No,
to be a
please don't.
very interesting matchup. I think, lacking Kristaps. And there's games where we got Luke Cornett starting. It's going to be interesting to see how that fares in a playoff run if Kristaps doesn't get back healthy because you
Listen,
saw the
I
impact he
want to
had
say
last
this.
year.
I want to say this about the Cleveland Cavaliers. The, Look, regular season, they're the best team that
Yes,
I've seen. They're the
yes,
regular season.
but
And the only reason I'm not picking them this year is because of experience. They just haven't done it. I mean, it's a process. You got to go through, you got to go through the process to do it. Now, they are very capable. This team looks like they're ready. but it's gonna, they have to do it. So, I don't want to anoint them without them earning that. But during the regular season, certainly they're the best team.
Yeah,
I mean,
when
their
we've seen
brand
this
of
before though,
basketball.
like
Yes.
we've seen great regular season teams. We've seen Mike Budenholzer's Atlanta Hawks. We've seen the Toronto Raptors. We've seen all these teams who do great in the regular season, but they just don't have what it takes to push them over the edge when it comes to, a playoff series. And I think the one advantage the Cleveland Cavaliers have over those Raptor teams and Atlanta Hawks teams of the past is those teams really lacked a star scorer. Whereas the Cavs have Donovan Mitchell. And I believe if the statistic is correct, other than Michael Jordan, Donovan Mitchell has the highest scoring average in the NBA playoffs ever. I don't know if that's the right number or in like the modern era
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever you want to
I'm
call
not.
it.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna
the
let you
point
guys handle
being,
that.
the point
Yeah.
being is that those Hawks teams and those Raptors teams didn't have a guy who, when the game got close down the stretch, you could give the ball to and say, "Give me a bucket," because we know DeMar DeRozan wasn't doing that for the Raptors. Kyle Lowry weren't doing that for the Raptors. And the Hawks, it was kind of they're winning by committee because they've got five All Stars on one team, right? Whereas with the Cavs, you have a guy in Donovan Mitchell who can go and get you a bucket when you need it down the stretch. He can score on all three levels, and he tortures the Celtics every time they play. I think he's averaging like 35 a game against the Celtics. So they don't have an answer for him, even with Drew Holiday and Derek White. So that's the reason why I don't have them in that same kind of regular season merchant category. And I think that they could do something this season. But in
Well,
terms of winning it all, that's a big ask on your first. Like what they played one playoff series before. Like last year didn't count because they were all injured. Year before they lost to the Knicks, unless I'm mistaken, in the first round.
I want to say this about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I said this when that young man first came in the league. If they're going to win a championship, the best player is going to be Evan Mobley. I said that. I,
Yes.
I, I said it then. I'm saying it now, and now it's suddenly Evan Mobley. Okay, Evan Mobley is going to have to be the best player on their team because he's the best player that can actually impact the game on both ends of the court. That's how this works. Evan Mobley is that good of a player. And now he hasn't added, it's just now being more emphasized. He can also impact the game with his passing. What you can play through him. Okay. Now Donovan Mitchell may score points and all those things. He'll be the leading scorer, and that's fine. But the guy that is going to stir the drink for them is going to be Evan Mobley. He's going to be now. Can he meet the physicality of the game and do the following, which all great players have to do? They have to play through the contact. So if Evan Mobley can play through the physicality of the playoffs as he advances, the defense is going to get tougher and tougher. If he can do that, and then you can allow, you know, Mitchell to do what he's going to do. You can allow Darius Garland to do what he's going to do, and all the other players. But the main cog for them is going to be Evan Mobley. Now, Evan Mobley is going to have to figure out every game to be impactful and impact the game, whether it's with his defensive presence, offensively scoring when he needs to score, passing and drawing the double teams when that needs to happen, and he can facilitate as a big. He just impacts the game, and I don't think there are too many players that can contain him in all of those categories in which he can go and impact the game. He doesn't have to score 30 points to be big. He can do 15, 15, and 8 with 5 blocks and be the third or fourth scorer on that team and be the most impactful player on the floor. That he's that type of player. So for him, it's just about understanding, his importance to this as they begin to advance in the playoffs. Now they're going to have to get through this playoff run. Okay. But he's going to be the main reason why they're going to get through it. But he's got to learn how to play through
Yeah.
that physical presence. Because it's going to be physical. I mean,
Yeah.
Al Horford, all of these guys are going to be physical with him. And he's gotta be able to handle that.
Yeah. I mean, last time the Cavs got to the playoffs, Jared and or I don't count last year's playoff run for the Cavs because everyone was injured on their roster, basically, right? For the last time they were properly in the playoffs, Jared Allen said the lights were too bright. So let's hope the lights aren't too bright this time. As it stands, they'll more than likely be playing the 8 seed. They're 52-10 right now. I don't think the Celtics have a chance of catching them. They're 7.5 games behind. So they're going to be the 1 seed. They're going to play the 8 seed, which will be either the Heat, the Hawks. The Magic have been on a horrible slide, 5 losses in a row recently, or the Bulls. So it's more than likely going to be the Hawks or the Heat in the first round. And then it will be the Pacers or the Bucks in the second round. I don't know. There's still a lot of time left, but the Eastern Conference standings are a lot less fluid than the Western Conference standings. I watched the Lakers game last night, and I'm excited for Saturday's game, Celtics Lakers, because I think that could be a NBA Finals preview. Do you know why?
Well, I'm going to assume, Mo, that you have a conspiracy theory here.
It's not a conspiracy theory if I'm always right.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
When have my conspiracy theories been wrong? Lakers Warriors Conference Finals in the West. LeBron Steph, that is the biggest draw that you can get for a chance to get to the NBA Finals. Then you get to the NBA Finals, Lakers Celtics, Luka revenge against the Celtics for last year's final loss. LeBron always hates the Celtics because we used to kick his ass until we had to run off to Miami and create a super team. And Lakers Celtics is a historic rivalry. That would do the best numbers for the narratives of the league that the league could possibly hope for and possibly ask for in a year where there's been rampant criticism of the direction of the league and the numbers dropping, so on and so forth. So I'm just saying that there is a potential that that happens. But also, aside from that, obviously, I'm, somewhat kidding. The Lakers have been playing really well. And I've been most impressed by the Lakers defensively. The offense is great, and we knew the offense was going to be great because you got Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Okay, you're going to find a way to score, but defensively, the way that they have been locked in, I was saying to the guys in the Discord server last night. In last night's game against the Knicks, I think I saw Luka Doncic in a defensive stance more times than I saw him in a defensive stance throughout the whole NBA Finals. They've got every member of the roster buying in defensively because they know without Anthony Davis anymore on their roster, they can't just rely on him to clean up the mess at the bucket. Everyone has to be locked in. They're rotating well. They're communicating well. JJ's going to different things in his playbook. They're going to, and I say JJ, but realistically, it's the assistant coaches. They're all working as part of a team. They've got a good squad of coaches over there. They're going to zone. They're throwing in different gimmick defenses at times when the game dictates. And I've been impressed by their defense more than anything because the offense is impressive, but we know if you give Luka Doncic the basketball in his hands, he's either going to score or get a bucket for one of his teammates. Like we knew that was going to happen. All right, I'm.
You know it. I didn't know it, but you knew it.
But
I
I've been telling
didn't.
you this since Luka was 14 years old playing in Spain. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
I'm not.
this is
No,
what he does.
yeah, I get it. I get where the Lakers right now are playing. They've had a good, what, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay. Everyone, this is the honeymoon stage. And I get it. And I get it. We want something here and we're so quick to anoint and all those things. I get it. I'm just old enough to know that I'm not falling for that trap. But I'll let people have it because they are playing well. And I enjoy people when they play well. I enjoy the game. But everyone, everyone right now is on their best behavior. Now, as you can see, it's they're going to be tough because you have two guys that can carry a 48-minute game. Now, the coaching staff deserves a lot of credit because they've staggered their minutes. That's what I respect more than anything. Very rarely do you have two players that can actually carry a brand of basketball in which they're similar. LeBron James and Luca, they play at a similar pace at their stage of their career. So while one is taking a rest, the other is carrying it, and then they switch it, and then at the end of the game, they're both on the court. Very rarely do you have someone who can do that. Probably with the exception of maybe your Celtics. Okay.
Tatum and Brown.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a unique situation. However, let's see how this plays out because these teams, they all need about, remember, Bo, all these teams need about 25 games to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
stick to the principles of this game. I'm not going to all of a sudden the first week of the season anoint a team. 2 weeks into the season, I'm going to anoint a team. Remember, this team is about 2.5 weeks into the way they play. Rest of the league is watching, and I can assure you there is somebody who is going to figure out how to defend this team, whatever that may be. And once they can get through that 20 game mark, then we can start saying all of the things before we start anointing people. We're way too quick now to
It-
want to anoint everybody.
I understand what you're saying. In 2008, the Lakers made their trade for Pau Gasol just before the trade deadline, and they went to the finals that same season. So at what point do you start taking them seriously? Because over the last 20 games, and this is even before Luka got to the Lakers, they've been playing exceptional basketball.
Who's
That
playing exceptional?
the Lakers, they've won their last eight. They're 8-2 in their last 10, and over their last 20, I think.
Well, let's see. I mean, okay, they played 10 games. Let's
But
see.
what I'm saying is, even the 10 games before Luka got there, they were on the rise and playing good basketball.
Okay, let's see. I want to see. Now Luca is here. What they did prior to Luca has nothing to do with Luca. They played 10 games with Luca. They're 8-2. Okay, this is great. The Warriors at the beginning of the season were 12-3, and everyone had anointed them. And then what happened? I don't hear these people anymore. And then they made a trade, and then all of a sudden everybody's come back. I get it. I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying I want to be patient with this team. I think this team they deserve time to figure out who they are. They've done some things. Okay, and after 10 games, if you can figure that out, hey, I can't. I'm just not as astute as most when it comes to making predictions after 10 games. If you guys got it figured out, I don't have that formula. I need about 20, 25 games. You know my stand. I say this every year, so I'm just being consistent.
Well,
Excuse
there's
me for
there's
being
21
consistent.
games left in the season, so
Well, I need about 15 more games before I can verify and say, okay, this is who I think they are. Because
mhm.
I know that these teams are putting together defensive schemes to figure it out. What's their style? What's their brand? How they play? What's their substitution pattern? Who's going to play? Are you going to play physical against them? How are you going to attack them? I haven't seen teams yet really, like the Knicks. Okay. All right. Knicks travel across country and play, and then all of a sudden I'm going to be like, come on. Yeah, come on, man. You're talking to me now. You know what I mean? I get it. Take that somewhere else, but not here. Not here. Our fans are too sophisticated for that. Okay. The Knicks travel across country, suit up and play, and everybody goes, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. Sounds good. Sounds good. They could have easily lost that game last night, easily, right?
Yeah,
But
if,
they
if
won
Jalen
it.
Brunson doesn't get injured, there's a world in
Whatever,
which
whatever
the
the
Knicks
case
win.
may be, whatever the case may be, no excuses. Everyone's suiting up. But I'm not buying into that. You're like, come on, man. You're like, come on. Like, come on, Mo. Like,
Hey,
we're past that state. I'll let you talk. If you believe it, go ahead. I'll say it, and then we can move to the next segment. But
a,
I'm
a,
not.
a wise man told me, Mo, just follow the money.
Yeah, just okay. If that's what it is. But
We're
as you
gonna find
know,
out. We're
I'm
gonna
I'm
find
keeping.
out.
Yeah, me. I keep it real. I'm the money follows me. That's how this works. I'm not following it.
See, I need to learn to get like that. Sad news for the Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr. got injured. They're now on a four-game losing streak. The Rockets trying to turn things around. They slid down to fifth in the Western Conference, and the Warriors on the climb, winning eight of their last 10 since Jimmy Butler's got there. They're up to sixth.
Okay.
So the Western Conference is all shifting. My take on it, if I'm going to be from a basketball lens, if Jamal Murray plays like Jamal Murray usually plays in the playoffs, then I've got Denver winning the whole thing. That
I,
includes the
I'm
NBA
not. I'm not.
Finals.
I'm not mad at that.
That
I'm
include,
not mad at. I'm
but,
not mad at that.
but, think I've seen Jamal play well. And when I say well, I don't mean playing good. I mean playing to the standard of which I hold Jamal Murray to because of the greatness we've seen from him in the past. I've not seen that this season, except for maybe three or four times. And to be able to flip that switch when the playoffs come around, if he can do that again, fantastic. But if he can't, I don't know if it's going to be possible for the Nuggets to make another run.
Well,
But what I do love
I'm
is
not. Yeah, Jokic is too good. So I'm not worried about all of this Jamal Murray blaming. No,
I'm not
Jokic.
blaming. I'm not blaming, right? But if
Yeah,
you look at
yeah,
how teams are now defending Jokic, and they've been trying to do this, Jokic is now getting double and triple teamed off the ball. And they're just perfectly fine with saying, we're going to play 4-on-3, and we'd rather play 4-on-3 against everyone else than let Jokic be involved. Like, you look at the way that he's been guarded over the
I
last few
don't
games,
care. I
it's
don't care
crazy.
what the other teams are doing against Jokic. He's just that good. It's like we've seen. Okay, so so what are we saying? These are Jokic rules now? Is that what we're saying? So
Maybe.
okay, so they made Jokic rules. They had Jordan rules. He still won. I don't care. I don't care about that. Most people, when you don't have the talent of some of the other players, of course you put yourself in a box. Well, they're double teaming me and triple teaming me, and then okay, so they're double teaming and triple teaming you. You don't have the talent to do that. Well, Jokic actually has the talent to figure it out. That's the difference between us and him. Jordan rules. Okay, they had rules. He still had the talent to figure it out. That's the difference. Okay. Now, if you don't have that talent, of course, you're like, oh, they're double teaming me. They're triple teaming me. What am I supposed to do? Like,
Yes,
you don't
I
have that
do not
talent.
have the same talent as Nikola
Okay, then.
Jokic.
So
That's why I'm here.
let's admire what he's going to do. He's a great player. He will figure it out. That's what great players do.
Yeah.
They make the impossible possible. He will figure it out. Okay. So they'll double team him. Then you and I will come on the show. It is the most amazing thing we've ever seen. We've never seen this, and then we'll go down that act like we do. Okay. Jokic is Jokic. And then there's everyone else. He's the best player. And I believe he will be the best player in the postseason when the game slows down. He's already there. Everyone else speeds up in the regular season. He stays right there. And then
Stay
when everyone
steady.
yes, and he'll be there. So now, do I think Luca adds a an interesting component to this? I really do. Because
Yeah.
Luca, he wants the smoke. And I think it would be fascinating to watch Luca, him, and Shea in the Western Conference. I
Hmm.
think those three players right now are
And Stephen
probably
Curry.
yeah, I think those three. I'm saying what I think. Luca, Jokic, and Shea are they are playing in a different stage. Now, you want to talk about names? Yeah, but
If we're doing
Steph
the whole
can't.
league, then Giannis, for sure.
You could put Giannis. You could put Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I'm
Jason
glad you
Tatum is
said it.
capable. Yeah, Jason Tatum is capable. He's capable of being the best player in a series. Giannis, but in the Western Conference, those three are playing at a different level. Okay, those three can they can go there. Two of those guys are arguably one, two, for MVP. Okay, so if you ask me for MVP, I would say in no particular order. Well, I will say Shea, and then you can put Jokic, and then you put Giannis. I think those are the three right now for MVP. But I think Jason Tatum is capable in any series against anyone of being the best player in the series. Okay. And I think Luca is also in that category.
Hmm. Hmm.
I do. Do I think Steph Curry is capable of having a game or a series? Yes, absolutely. He's tested, but it's going to be very difficult for him to outplay Luca, Jokic, and those guys for an entire season. I think at this stage of his career, I do. I don't see that. I think Shea is clearly the best guard in the NBA. Clearly. I don't think there's any guard right now that's playing at his I don't think there's any player right now in the regular season right now that's playing at his I mean, when you talk about free, he's just playing with a flow right now that I mean, he's 30, 40, 50 points. So he went in and had what, 50 points against John Morant the other night or something like that, 40, 50 points. I mean, this guy's playing at an all-time high. I mean, he's just playing on another level right now, and that happens. So let's give that man his respect. And then if those other guys meet that level of excellence, we will be there to witness it. But right now, I don't see it. I don't see that.
Only time will tell.
I don't see that. And we know Shea is getting doubled and triple teamed.
Yeah,
And he's still,
Shea
okay.
has won 11 playoff games in his life, so we're gonna have to see a lot more to see if he can have a
Yes.
consistent. Has he won 11 playoff games in his life, or is it less? But we got to see him do it in the playoffs. We got to see him do it, and I'm not saying that he can't do it, and I'm not saying he won't do it. I'm just saying we before crowning him the best player in the league, because we got to keep the same energy. Because
No, no,
because
we're saying MVP in the regular season. I
no,
want to
but
make this clear before you
but
when you
I
remember.
remember on this very show you telling me that a few years ago Nikola Jokic can't be MVP because we've not seen him succeed in the playoffs. So we got
Okay.
to keep that same. If we're giving the best in the world crown,
I'm going
we
to
got to
say this,
wait.
but I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear. The the MVP voting has shifted of what it used to be to what it is today. The MVP voting has shifted. Okay. But let me assure everyone here that's listening today to your reputation of who you are will be garnished in the playoffs. Okay? Who you are in all of the accolades and all of the things that you're trying to achieve. That will happen in your pursuit of an NBA championship.
Mm.
Okay? That's where it's going to happen. Jokic hadn't done it yet. Until he does it, you can't sit here and tell me what he's going to do and he hasn't done it. Until you complete it, we have to make an educated guess. That's what it is. We can pretend like we know, we can act and we can talk trash and all those things. Okay, that's fine. The MVP voting is for the regular season. That's clear. It's a clear that's the case now. However, prior to that, it, it meant what you did in the postseason. That's where you earned your stripes. It's not so much anymore. Okay. You can have a great regular season, but that doesn't mean you're the best player in the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's what it
but
is
it's
now.
the regular season MVP award.
It's a regular season MVP award, but it wasn't always that way.
I
Wasn't
mean,
always that way. Wasn't always that way. You know,
the
you could be.
MVP has always been decided before the playoffs even begin.
It's
So
always been decided, but it's always been. It was always. Hey, it was understood. It was kind of something that we just kind of understood where your reputation was really where you really separated yourself from the rest of the pack. That's how it was. Now it's different, and I'm okay with that. Times have changed. We moved on. So let's celebrate the regular season MVP. And then let's also recognize that the game in the playoffs is a different game.
mhm.
And the players that do it in the playoffs, those are the players. That's that's where your reputation is. That's where your reputation is created right there in the in the big moments. So, and I don't have a problem with that. That's where we're at. Let's celebrate that. But more importantly, let's recognize it and move on. It's not like a right or wrong or indifferent. That's what it is today. So, okay, let's call it what it is.
Before we wrap this up, a quote just came out from De'Aaron Fox, and we've got a few minutes left on the show. I want to share this quote with you because I think you'll like this. De'Aaron Fox said, "Yo, this is De'Aaron Fox talking about him leaving Sacramento." He said, I've been here going on my 8th year. If Mike gets fired, I'll be going on my 5th coach. I told him, I'm not going to play for another coach. I'm going to play for another team. So if everyone wants to know why De'Aaron Fox wanted to leave Sacramento, it's because they fired Mike Brown. So that's that's the end of that chapter.
Is that how you take it, or is that what he said? Like
That's word for word what he said. I just
or
read the quote to you.
read it again. Read it again, because I didn't take it
Oh,
like.
I've scrolled
So
off
read it
now. I've
again.
got to find it. Give me 1 second. He said, if Mike Brown gets fired, I'll be going on my 5th coach. I'm not going to play for another coach. I'm going to play for another team.
he's playing for another coach. So
Yeah, on a different team.
that's the business in which we play in. You're going to play for multiple coaches. You're going to play in multiple systems, right? All right. Okay, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
What is it? It's insane that he was in Sacramento for 8 years, and he's had five head coaches in that time. It's also insane. The Sacramento Kings knew that if they fired Mike Brown, they would have to trade Darren Fox, and they fired him anyway. So that's what that means. You could take it how you want to take it.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
understand players are
okay.
going to play for different coaches. Like yeah, okay, but that's not what I'm saying here.
I think there's a responsibility that players have to do. You got to do what's best for you and your family. And then as an organization, guess what the organization has to do? They have to do
Best for
what's best
them.
for them. So, okay, they offered him the max. What else can you do? As an organization, they drafted him. Okay, and you move on. I don't. What do you say? Like you don't. I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming him. This is very. This is what I don't understand. I guess I'm old enough to now recognize the following. Like this is professional sports. Now I can't participate unprofessional behavior in a professional sport. Everyone's going to get traded. Coaches are going to move on. Executives are going to move on. Change, if you're not comfortable with change, the NBA is probably not for you. It's going to happen. This is how it works. Very rarely will you have an experience where you're with an organization for your entire career. It's a rare occurrence. And when it does happen, let's celebrate it because you don't see it often. So I'm comfortable with change. I'm comfortable with teams moving on. I'm comfortable with players moving on. And you have to embrace it. And I'm okay with that. But everyone doesn't have to be demonized. Okay. And a lot of times, Mo, believe it or not, change is good for everybody. Okay. And I firmly believe this then when I played, and I believe it even more so now. Everyone should change after about 3 or 4 years. After 3 or 4 years, you're tired of listening to the coach. You're tired of listening to things are gonna get better. You're tired of listening. If you're coaching a player, you probably want to, you want to deal with a new situation. Everyone's tired of everyone. Okay, you play with someone over 100 games. It's only natural that you just probably want something new. Everyone should be required to change after about 3 or 4 years. Everyone.
Yeah.
I'm glad everyone's moved on. Sacramento will be fine. De'Aaron will be fine. And and hopefully he doesn't have another coaching change. Well, he'll probably have another coaching change. He'll probably, you know, I don't know if he finished. Hopefully he finishes his career with Sacramento. But this is how it works for everyone. Everyone gets moved. Everyone, whatever the situation may be. So just embrace it. Embrace the change. Embrace the opportunity that you have. Embrace the obstacles that are in front of you to achieve, right? If there's one thing that is consistent about the NBA, winning covers a multitude of sins. So if you win, things will probably be pretty consistent for you.
Yeah.
All right. If there's one thing that will give you consistency, that's winning. So hopefully they win there in Sacramento. Hopefully they win in San Antonio. And you and I can talk about things again that happen on the court instead of things that are happening off the court. Because I have a word now for everything that happens off the court. Whatever. Who cares? I don't care. It's like social media. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you feel. I'm a pro. And Mo, I get paid to perform. I show up and I do my job. That's what I get paid to do. Who cares how I feel? Oh, well, my microphone doesn't work today. Who cares? Mo, I call
I
Mo
care
and
about
Mo,
the
we
audio
figure it out.
quality.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you care about it. But guess what we do? We fix it
Fix
and we
it.
get the show.
Hell yeah.
Mo's running a little late, or I'm running a little late. Hey, okay. We fix it. We solve it. There's always something going on. So if there's anything to learn, Mo, the great players, they fix it.
Well,
They fix it. They solve it. They get after it. There's a loose ball. Don't tell me how well it's a loose ball. Like a coach used to tell me, he would always say, "Don't tell me how rough it is out there in the sea. Just bring the ship in. Bring it in, Mo.
facts. Words to
Bring
live
that in."
by.
So you know what, Mo? Here, who cares? I'm in a hotel. I can give you an excuse. I'm showing up. Wherever I'm at, Mo, I'm showing up. So
Hell
you know
yeah.
what? Here we embrace the change. So we showing up here. Trade us, Mo. Mo and I gonna show up. I don't care where we at.
Can't trade
Trade
us.
Mo,
We own the
trade
team. We
BJ,
own the team
trade
around here.
us.
We ain't
Yeah,
trading no
hey,
one.
hey, hey. No, Mo. We get traded, but guess what? We gonna show up. That's what we do. Now let's talk about stuff on the court and keep this train here. We got a responsibility. Our audience loves on the court.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's get back to it. We'll be back on Monday. Scotty P will be back in the house. We'll be
Oh,
breaking
Scotty's
it
coming
down
back. Okay, Scotty's coming back.
every Monday. Every Monday. Every
Yeah,
Monday.
well, I just want to make sure we on the court. Now let's get back on the court. Yeah,
All
hey,
right.
hey.
Well, BJ, safe travels wherever you are in the world. Get home safely. I'll see
Yes,
you
sir.
on Monday. And you guys listening, have a great weekend. We may have a bonus episode for you tomorrow. I've been watching the new Celtic series on HBO Max, and
Okay.
might have a few conversations with some of the directors from the show. Give you a little behind the scenes insight. A lot of the UK fans have been asking me where they can watch it. I don't believe HBO Max is available in the UK, so you're gonna have to get a VPN or something. But we're trying to figure that out. I'll keep you guys updated. But maybe I'll drop that episode tomorrow. Give you guys a little insight into behind the scenes. It's a really good series. I recommend you guys watching it. But until next time, subscribe to the show, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. BJ, I'll catch you on Monday. Until then, get buckets.